I've made multiple videos talking about how good of a game Immortals Fenyx Rising is, but now we have to talk about the DLC, because the DLC is a huge issue, as you can see in the title and the thumbnail. So, the DLC is called Immortals Fenyx Rising: A New God, and it's a continuation of the main story about Fenyx. Meanwhile, the two other DLCs are not directly about Fenyx, and you do not play as Fenyx. I will give you a few seconds of warning for you to click off this video if you do not want spoilers, because this is a spoiler review. Okay, so anyways, the DLC starts off with you going to Olympus, and you are trying to do these trials in order to become a god of your own, and you are greeted by Hermes, and this is where the problems begin. So whenever you're talking to Hermes, in the first sentence that he says, I believe it's the first sentence, but it is within the first scene, he is not even moving his mouth. So, as you can see, that is a screw up, and it's not just on my end, it's on other people's ends too, because I've talked to people and they're also having this problem. So, that is just one small little issue. There's many bugs in this, but that's the only one that really stood out to me was the mouth not moving at the beginning. But there are many bugs that people have had and that I've had too. I just don't remember any specific instances in the future to where that happened. Now, I have gameplay in the background, and I'm not going to heavily edit it because I have so many hours of recording from the DLC, but it's 99% just trials. There may be a little bit of talking that's done, but this entire DLC is you going to the original gods that you help in the main game, the four main gods, which are Hephaestus, Ares, Athena, and Aphrodite, and then you also have Hermes, of course, and Zeus. And you have to do trials for each of them in order to get a spot on Olympus, which is a fine idea, but this entire DLC does not have like any new world that you explore. It's just Olympus, which is very linear, one main little area where there's a bunch of seats for the gods, and then there's the four areas for those specific gods that I already mentioned. And you have to do three sets of trials in order to get your, I guess, blessing again from the gods in order to be given a seat in Olympus, which you are trying to help the world become good because things like Typhon happened and the gods were starting to be, I guess, corrupt. So that is the point of the DLC. The main issues I have with this DLC is that there's no exploration, and these trials are extremely tedious. They do make you think a lot, and I've had to look up certain things many times during this, but it is very tedious, and it gets extremely frustrating and annoying because, in my opinion, the trials were one of the, well, I guess the vaults were one of the best aspects of the main game, but whenever it comes to the DLC, it's pretty annoying because that's all you do. But in the main game, of course, there's so many other things you can do, like collect chests and fight monsters and explore different places. But in this, there's no exploration, and all you have to do is these vaults, and that's it for the entire DLC. And I think it's pretty stupid because they are all, like I said, annoying and tedious, and that is all you do for the whole DLC. There's basically zero story, what I told you earlier, to where you just have to do all these vaults in order to get a seat in Olympus is literally it. That's all you do, and I find that really annoying. And the DLC could literally be one cutscene in the main game if you really wanted to, because it is mentioned in the main game, like, come, I'll show you your new home or something like that, and then Fenyx is like, I'm not ready yet, or something like that in the main game at the end whenever Zeus is talking to Fenyx. So that could have been literally one scene already done throughout this entire DLC, to where it didn't even have to exist. It could have just been at the end of the main game. So I find that really annoying, and the DLC is just okay if you want to mindlessly play and you want to mindlessly have a challenge, I guess, but it's really annoying for somebody who wanted more stories with the gods and stuff, because there was zero story at all developed. What I told you is everything that happens, and it's really a waste of time. It was the DLC I was looking forward to the most, because the China DLC that comes next, I was a little skeptical about it, and I still am because I don't know too much about it, but I wanted to play a Greek mythology fantasy game, which obviously the China DLC is not Greek mythology, but apparently it still has a connection to the main story of Immortals Fenyx Rising, so I'm looking forward to that, I guess, but I am extremely skeptical. And then the last DLC is a top-down view, which I don't like, and it is a completely separate character. But apparently you have to help Phoenix, which I'm not exactly sure on that. I don't know if that's confirmed or not, but I just heard it, which it would be okay. I don't like the top-down view, and I don't like how we have another different character. And it's just really a waste of the first DLC to have that be the only DLC about Phoenix and it to be so bad and have basically zero story whatsoever. So that's really it for this review. I feel like it could have been longer, but I basically just summarized all of my points, and honestly there's not an insane amount of stuff to talk about because of how barren the DLC is, but it's okay. It's probably one of the worst DLCs I've ever played. There's a bunch of DLCs that are better, even though they're still bad. Like, I honestly had more fun in Odyssey's DLCs than I did in this DLC, and that's kind of ironic considering Odyssey obviously came out 3 years ago now, and it's made by the same developing team, so I feel like they could have improved upon their failures in Odyssey, but apparently not, at least with that DLC, so I mean, that's really it for this video. I want to know what you guys think about the DLC, if you've played it, or tell me what you think about the gameplay you see. I screwed up on a lot of parts, and it was really annoying. It should have taken, like, I'd say 8 to 10 hours, but it took me, like, 12 hours to beat it all because of how annoying it was with the physics in the DLC, to where you had to, like, hit things in a very specific way, or move things a specific way, or run really fast to this certain spot to, like, grab a ball in time, but it was really annoying. So anyways, that's it for this video, and make sure to leave a like and subscribe, do all of that, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye.